call to order and declare that the public hearing for the 2014-15 proposed budget starts at 6 o'clock p.m. Tuesday, September 16, 2014. Present at the public hearing are the 5 voting members of the Bowie County Commissioners Court: Commissioner Precinct 3, Kelly Blackburn; Commissioner Precinct 2, John Whitman; myself, Bowie County Judge Sterling Lacey; Commissioner Precinct 4, Mike Carter; and Commissioner Precinct 1, Sammy Stone. If you've not done so, be sure you sign in the attendance sheet. You don't need to sign in with the speaker's sheet tonight for the hearings on the proposed tax rate. Everyone's welcome to speak. If you do speak, please start by identifying yourself and your address so the clerk will have a record. I noticed in the last 2 hearings that very few people needed or used the whole 5 minutes. In fact, most were through in 3 minutes. And so what I want to do tonight is set a 3-minute limit. Everyone has a chance to speak for 3 minutes. And then if somebody wants more time, after everybody's had a chance to speak for 3 minutes, they are welcome to come back and take another 3 minutes. And we'll do that until everybody's had a chance to speak this evening. I didn't do a good job of running the timer last time, so I've asked my administrative assistant, Rachel Cherry, to run the timer for us. So when you hear the bell tower tone, whatever it is, go off, that it signifies in your 3 minutes, go ahead and finish the sentence you're in. If you have more to say, then wait for another turn to speak. Of course, the purpose of this hearing is to provide you an opportunity to suggest and recommend to the Commissioners Court whatever you want to about the proposed budget for 2014 and 15. We have a copy of the proposed budget there on the podium if you want to refer to any particular department or line item, which I think probably some of our department heads will want to do here tonight. We have spots on the front row here reserved for speakers, so if somebody's speaking and you know you want to speak, come on up and take a seat, and as soon as they're finished and you're next in line, and we'll just call you to the podium. So if you'd like to speak this evening, come on up and take a seat. Sir, did you want to start us off?
Might as well.
Okay. Come on up and tell us who you are and where you're from.
Good afternoon, Judge and Commissioners. I'm Bill Davis. I'm from Texarkana, Texas, Summerhill Road. As you know, I wouldn't be here if I wasn't opposed to the tax. And I'm just wondering who would be willing to take responsibility for as commissioners or you, the judge, for us being in this situation to have to raise taxes. And are you calling it mismanagement? Or is it your responsibility or the commissioner's fault?
Did you have any suggestions or recommendations about the proposed budget tonight?
Well, I'm trying to figure out why we're here on this tax deal. Is it any situation that we can make a decision where you may want or not to increase our taxes? Or is it already decided without any of us speaking?
Well, now we've held two hearings already on the proposed tax rate. Tonight's meeting is on the proposed budget.
Okay.
If you have any suggestions or recommendations for us on the proposed budget, it's been online, available in the clerk's office, and you have a copy there.
I do have a suggestion.
Yes.
Who decided to borrow $5 million out of the group, and how did you decide you was going to pay it back? And why would a bank loan you $5 million if you had no money?
All right, thank you. Commissioner? Well, we know who you are, but go ahead and tell us who you are and where you're from.
I'm Tony Barron. I live at Sims, Texas. I'm the tax assessor collector here for Bowie County. I'm here tonight because I'm very disappointed and I'm concerned with this budget of 2015. In the spring of 2014, 2014, we were told to take a 10% cut within our own office budget. And those that, some did and some didn't, but I did. I did that 10%. Around the 1st of June, I understood that there were going to be more cuts. So I told the last hired or the lowest seniority employees that I had that there was probably going to be a cut. And so 2 of them at that time found a job. And I was glad of that. And I really thought by those 2 leaving that I wouldn't have to have another cut. But on July the 31st, we had to have a 15% cut taken, either employees' salaries straight across the board or a layoff. And I chose to let 2 girls go. So basically, every department in the county was to either have lost employees or a 15% cut of the salaries. One of the jobs that I was told that would probably be eliminated was the reception phone operator job. Kathy Hicks went to work at that job September of 2011 after 8 months of working for Natalie Nichols at $37,000 a year. She went to work in September. After she left Natalie, she went right to work, answering the telephone, being a receptionist for $29,018. When she left, September of 2014, she was making $30,785, which none of my girls, none of my employees have ever made that kind of money, except for my chief deputies. My girls, I've had them 5, 10, 15, and 20 plus years, and they have worked so hard, and most especially now that we are short-handed. I have 4 girls in each office now, that's all I have. One is usually doing the report, and in each office are, well, reports in both offices have to be done, which leaves just 3 girls. I had to close my drive-through in Texarkana because of I didn't have an employee to work it, and the people inside, which were stacked up, got angry because the girls would turn around and try to work the window. So 2 of them got up, got in their cars, and got in the drive-through. Said it was working.
The timer just went off. Would you be willing to come back and finish that for us, your report?
Would the people let me just have another turn and finish mine at once?
Let's be fair to everybody, but I do want you to come back and finish what you have to say.
I will. It takes 3 times. I'll do that.
Very good. We'll have you back a 3rd time if necessary. And you can wait if nobody else comes to the podium to speak. Oh, here we go.
I'm Emily Sabo. I'm from Texarkana, Texas. Precinct 4 Commissioner Mike Carter, after continuously complaining that he had no money, left in his budget and was given $60,000 in gas by another commissioner. Now we find out that on September the 5th, Carter hired Judge Lacey's courthouse phone operator that was being paid $30,785.52 plus benefits out of the courthouse funds to sit in the cubbyhole and with an automated phone system. Commissioner Carter hired this person to be his new secretary, a new salary of $35,000 plus benefits. Which did not go through Commissioner's Court and be approved and be voted on by these other commissioners. That's a violation of the law. The previous employee salary was $32,824.22, plus benefits. She had worked for the county since 1986. My question, when was the position posted? How many applications did you receive? Where is the new employee's application? The payroll department has not received any applications as of this date, September 11th, 2014. Every county official was supposed to be cutting back, and Commissioner Carter just hired an employee and gave her a raise. He could have saved $35,000 without letting anyone go, but this is just another. You scratch my back, and I'll scratch yours. Wow.
I'll remind you, did you have a suggestion for?
Do I have a suggestion?
For the proposed
Cut the
budget?
position.
I have a suggestion.
Would you wrap up with, what is your recommendation on the
Cut the
budget
position.
Do
tonight?
you want me to come back and?
Okay, we'll have you back.
Okay.
All right, next speaker.
Oh, me,
Right ahead, tell us who you are and where you're from.
Yeah, cut the position.
Oh, do I have to turn my back on these folks?
Yes,
now?
you do, you gotta talk to the court.
Okay, my name is Chester Crinkle, if you don't mind. What deal? What New Austin, Texas. Listen, I hadn't heard anything good tonight out of these speakers. To make a long story short, the way I see it, the Bowie County financial train has run off the track. We can sit here and raise hell and accuse one another, and we're getting nowhere. We need to all try to get together, roll up our sleeves, and try to get this thing back on track. Now, from what I've seen, and I've heard all recommend what caused this stuff. The administration now caused it, the previous administration caused it, but I bring no professional expertise to here, but I've got some common sense. If you want to know how to go broke, I can tell you. I've been broke 3 times. And all are doing exactly the same thing I did. Okay, here we go. You got the previous, not this one, but the previous administration were doing a good job. They had a lot of debt, but they, had some cash. They had a lot of debt, and some of the debt was, was mortgage debt on equipment. We got this other administration coming in. They had a bunch of debt, and they took all the cash money and paid it off. Now that first scenario is a slow way to go broke. The second one is a quick way to go broke. And I don't have any suggestion. Y'all have appointed an expertise committee to come in here, and these people are professional people. They take the time off of their business to go with you, and y'all are not listening to them. My advice to wrap this up is this: either use them or dismiss them, because if you're not going to listen to them, don't take up your time, okay? And do the job. Y'all do the job that this people in Bowie County elected y'all to do, okay? We elected y'all to fix the roads and handle the budget. And handing it off to somebody else is not the proper way. Thank you, sir.
Did you have a specific recommendation for the budget tonight that we're talking about?
The budget tonight? Yes, sir. I'm going to tell you real quick. There's a lot of laws you can violate in this world to get by with it, but the law of arithmetic, you can't violate it. If you spend more than you take in, you're broke.
Once again, that this is a hearing on the proposed budget, and if you have something you'd like to address in the proposed budget, that would be in harmony with the purpose of tonight's meeting. All right. Next.
I'm James Prentice, I'm the sheriff here in Bowie County. I've got 2 things I want to discuss with y'all tonight in reference to the budget. One being one of the employees I have, and whether or not she will continue employment after October 1st. And the other is about some washers and dryers in the jail that we recently found out they're in extremely bad shape and probably will not make it through another budget year. Some of them are. The first being Tracy Jones, a lady that watches our cameras. We moved the cameras back from the front to the sheriff's office. Her salary was only approved until October 1st, or the end of the fiscal year. Will her employment continue? I need to let her know something.
Do we have enough in your proposed budget for her salary?
Y'all did not approve up until, I don't know what you did. Or will we pay her out of courthouse security fund, which is what that money is there for? I just need to try to get, I laid off 6 employees already, and she would be the 7th if we have to let her go. I just need to let her know something so she knows whether we're looking for a new job or not.
Has she been paid out of your salary budget last month and this month?
Yes, I believe so. Mr. Ty, is that correct?
That's correct. And I believe there's a good possibility then that her salary is still in there, but let's you and I take a closer look and make sure that the total salary for your department includes her. Or if not, we'll put it on the agenda for Monday morning to take a look at using the courthouse security fund.
Thank you very much.
James, are you within your 15%?
Yes. Yes, we laid off that many employees. We laid off those 6 we've already laid off. We did that.
Put you within that range.
That, yes, sir. And, okay, in reference to the washers and dryers in the jail, right now we have 590 inmates in the bi-state and the annex. We have 97 contract inmates from the U.S. Marshal Service. We have 10 contract inmates from the Little River County Sheriff's Office. We're working very hard, as you have been told before, to try to get more contracts. We've got 4 dryers and 4 washers. These are big washers and big dryers in the jail. I have no idea how old they are. They was probably put in there when the jail was erected. Of the dryers, one of them works on a regular basis. One of them works about half the time. The other 2 don't work at all. We have 4 washers. They're extremely badly rusty. I've got pictures here I can show you. They're a large industrial capacity size. And I know it's bad time, but to replace all of them, one quote that we've been given, I know we need to put this out for bid, but it's going to be approximately $69,000 if we replace all of them. These are something that we have to have because we have to clothe our inmates. We have to give them clean clothes. We have to give them bed linen. We're required to do by law. Okay? Not something that I want to come to you and do. But it costs us money to keep. You want me to continue later?
Yes, would you come back and let's make sure everybody gets their 3 minutes first and then we'll have you back.
Can I go ahead and get the pictures on the ground?
Yes.
I will actually give you, I will give you a recommendation.
Tell us who you are and where you're from.
I wanted to be short. I'm Gabe Carr from New Boston. I spoke about 3 months ago and gave you all a recommendation that instead of the 15% be cut to salaries, let the department heads choose to take 15% out of their budget. You guys have no business micromanaging managers. Some departments can cut something else other than salary to achieve the 15%, because I think that's what you're trying to do, is achieve a 15% cut. Well, you guys didn't listen to me, and ever since then, everybody's having heartaches, and so are the department heads, because you've tied their hands. They can't do anything but cut salaries, and that's wrong. The other suggestion I have, sir, the previous administration had 1 administrator. You have 3. Mike Carter, you're the only one with an administrator. There's 4 administrators here. I don't know why you need 3, Judge Lacey, but the other judge did fine with 1. So recommendation, cut. Mike, cut. You're the only commissioner with a secretary. How can these 3 guys do their job and you can't without a secretary? That's my recommendation, and thank you all very much.
Amen.
If I may may respond, I thought it was a great idea when you made it before.
But listen, you should have pounded his guys.
I have. I have. I think that's a great idea. I think overall, 15% cut, amounting to the 15% we're looking for, okay? And that way, some departments might have the option of some items that they can put off the year and hang on to an employee. All right. Are you fuming? Did you want to respond? Okay. Anybody else wants to speak tonight?
I'm gonna finish.
No, wait. I'm gonna give everybody, some people are kind of shy. Come on up, there's seats on front here for people who want to speak. And that way, Tony, I will get back to you now, but we're gonna give everybody a chance to speak for the first time, and then all we're gonna do is go back to the people that needed more time that came up. And so if you want to speak once tonight, you better get up here before I get Tony Barron back up here. All right, tell us who you are and where you're from.
I'm Betsy Spencer, and I'm from New Boston. And in the commissioners' court meetings that y'all had, I realized that y'all couldn't cut your salaries till the 2015 budget, and I was wondering if you had done that. Do you have a response to my question?
Oh, are you asking me personally, or?
Well, yeah, you go ahead and answer, and then I'll ask the others. Have you done that?
What I did was, I took the judge's salary down to the salary of a commissioner. Now, the state provides $16,000 in addition to that.
Mm-hmm.
If we reduce my salary lower than the commissioners, then they consider that the $16,000 is supplanting my salary rather than supplementing it like they intend for it to be. And they'll simply reduce that amount of money. And so I've reduced my salary down. Now you may ask the other four.
Okay.
But you remember they were allowed to reduce their department by 15%.
Well, I know, but I was wondering if y'all had cut your salaries, like a lot of the others had been cut, and like the rest of us are gonna pay for the $5 million. I was wondering if y'all were gonna go in and support that.
Betsy?
Yeah.
For the last 3 pay periods, since the 15% pay cut hit, I have been dividing my paycheck up, my net pay, up between 13 employees at Precinct 4. The first pay period, it works out about $153 per employee, which makes up a lot of the 15% they lost. The second pay period with a car allowance in it, it works out to about $175 per employee. I've given them everything that the county has given me for the last 2 months. I know the 15% hit them hard. It was a surprise, and their budgets were set up with full pay, and I kind of felt bad that they didn't have time to rearrange their budgets. So I've just decided that through the end of the year, I don't know what's going to happen after the first year. I don't know if the
Or have you cut your budget, your salary in the 2015 budget?
Yes, well, I cut about $300,000 out of my budget for
Your salary? I'm asking salaries.
the salaries have already been cut, and they'll be.
Well, I didn't think you could cut yours till the new budget.
Well,
That's
the
what I'm asking.
proposed budget has a salary cut in, it's carrying over from this salary cut now.
Okay.
If we carry this salary cut over now that we have, it is a salary cut.
Okay. Now, may I ask you, Mr. Carter, what are you going to do about your secretary?
I'm going to keep
Wait a
her.
minute, you asked a question of the 5 of us up here. Would you finish that question, please?
Yes, I did, and they,
My car allowance totally cut out about
Okay.
$400. I have my car allowance as well.
okay.
And I spent my overall budget over $200,000.
Your time's up for this first time around.
Okay, well, I'll come back.
Did you want to respond?
Thank you.
Very good.
I'll look at my full 3 hands.
That's probably it. Tell us who you are and where you're from.
Hello, I'm William Perry. I live in New Boston. I'm a relatively new new citizen of New Boston and actually the Bowie County area after getting out of the United States Army. And I've been around just long enough, and I think, to watch. And one of the things that I do know is that it looks like there's an embattlement, and I'll get to my suggestion here in a minute. It looks like there's an embattlement between, you know, this group of people and that group of people, and it's really disconcerting to a whole lot of us. My only real suggestion is to please work like a team. You know, you depend on each other, and we all depend on you to make decisions to improve the roads and basic small quality of life things. And I do thank you for your service, but I really do hope that people stop being ugly and that we start to learn how to work as a team. Thank you.
Somebody else for the first time? Would you tell us who you are and
I'll
where
be
you're
for the
from?
first time. I'm Pat Arnold from Texarkana. My question is, does the county have any land that it doesn't need anymore that it possibly could sell for revenue? Number one. My other suggestion is anybody here a really good friend of Ross Perot? And that's it.
I like your thought process. Need a sugar daddy.
And we gave a quick answer to that, about the land that could be sold, but we'll take a look at that and see if indeed we have some. We found out we had some property that we didn't know we had when somebody offered to buy an office space down on Broad Street over a year ago. And so we've been searching to find out if there's other pieces of property. We had an opportunity to sell that recently, and there was some blockage to that. So the idea of finding out if we have land that we own that we don't need anymore anytime in the near future is not a bad idea at all. Would you tell us who you are and where you're from?
My name is Ann Mack, and I'm from Red Lake. And I have been attending Commissioner's Court off and on now for about a year and a half. And it is really fascinating to see that a lot of you all don't know a lot more than I know. And that is concerning. But I guess I'm like a lady before me, or the gentleman, I can't remember. Why do 3 commissioners not have a secretary or administrative assistant, whatever you want to call them, and one does? Why did the former judge have only 1 employee, and you have 3, plus someone that helps you with wills and probate and all that? Why can't you? And I've not heard you cut an employee. I've heard these gentlemen, these women that have departments here, talk about they've cut 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, 5 people. Judge, you haven't cut anybody. Did you cut 15% of your budget?
In my office, we all took a 15% cut in our salaries, yes.
Okay. But you didn't cut anybody. You've not cut a person.
Well, we had the option.
But you didn't
The
choose
Commissioners
it.
Court gave us the option of reducing our payroll by 15% or
It's a yes or no.
or letting somebody go, so it brings it down 15%.
But you did not cut anybody.
No.
Okay.
No.
And so we still have your 3 employees.
I fired one when I took over at Precinct 4 this third day.
You fired them.
Yeah, I love that.
Worker, no, office worker. Okay, that was just my suggestion would be for you to let someone go and for you to try without a secretary for a while and see. Since we're in tight times and people, a 36% increase in taxes is going to kill some people.
Ridiculous.
Now I was here and I approved, I was for the $5 million loan, but we're out of money already.
Again.
So we need to make some cuts, and it would be interesting to see side by side, and I have done budgets. I'm not unfamiliar with budgets, to see side by side what has been cut from year to year to year. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Before our next speaker comes up, let me clarify one thing about the judge's office. The budget I inherited was a total budget for the court office of $306,000.
We don't know.
Let's not go there. Let's not go there.
$306,000. The budget I'm proposing for this next year is $233,000. This is a $70-some thousand reduction in the budget that was set by the previous judge before I came into office, compared to the one that's being proposed this next year. And actually, the salaries that were set when I came into office was $219,266 in the budget for the county judge's office. And my budget proposal this next year is $164,540. And so, so people have some misconceptions that seem to get repeated over and over again about the budgets for the county court office previously compared to now. I believe nearly every year we have cut some from the budget and made that provision before it ever came into the will of the court. All right, our next first-time speaker.
The previous judge left $6.7 million.
I'm John Lowe from DeKalb, Texas. And I really haven't followed anything other than the newspaper, and that was a bad place to follow. So I don't know a whole lot about some information, but I've heard some more here tonight. And the man that told you how to go broke, I can attest that that is correct. If you spend more than you take in, you're going broke. And I am against the budget. I think you need to live within your means. And then once you get that under control and the taxes are taken care of, maybe you can spend more for whatever you feel like got to be done. And these department heads that, I agree with what the man said earlier, sound like that y'all are trying to manage those and that you ask the people to take care of the 15% cut, and they should have the privilege to do it whatever way they see fit, instead of y'all trying to tell them to fire people and then you don't give them credit for what they did. The other thing that I've been reading, that you do have a committee, and I don't know whether that's a paid committee or a volunteer committee.
Volunteer.
But it's supposed to be a committee of people that's got some experience in finances, some experience in reading budget, preparing budget, and I'm assuming that they have all that. And I read the paper that you're not accepting that advice that they're giving you. So I guess you can't fire them because you're not paying them. But, you know, you really need to pay attention to that, and that's really the y'all's job, that you shouldn't have to maybe do that, to hire somebody to come in and help you with that area. But I know some of you are expert in building roads and doing other things, and maybe the budget and financial end is not your cup of tea. But get some help, use it, pay attention to what they tell you, and if they're wrong, prove them wrong, and get within your budget and live within it, and don't put it all on us to have to pay this increase that you won't put on us. A lot of people are living on their budget that they can't do anything about. In other words, they make them a salary that is your employees, and now you cut 15% off of that. But most of us, we can't run up to the boss and say, look, they raised the taxes, we got to have more money. We can't do it. And y'all need to take that into consideration instead of just raising taxes some more and go borrow money. And, you know, you can't borrow yourself out of debt. I'll give you that advice. That's right.
Yes. We know who you are, so you tell
I'm
us who
Sue
you are,
Anderson,
where
and
you're
I'm from
from.
New Boston, and I came tonight depending not to speak, but God just gave me, I just feel like I should. I know we're here and we're bashing all of y'all, and we're going over and over and over all of the things that have been done and have not been done. Where the blame is, we can't take that away. I don't know who it is. I don't know how much money you guys make when they're asking you, did you cut your salary? Everything that I do for CPS is volunteer. I don't get paid a penny, but I do depend on y'all to get the money to me so that I can take care of these children that the parents will not take care of. And we have a lot. We have a lot. And parents are getting worse every day. I don't know what the solution is. I know we've got to find out some way that we can get more revenue coming in to Bowie County. We've got to figure out how we can. I understand that Sheriff Prince is working on getting more prisoners in down there from other counties that would help us. But we've got to figure out, and we can't keep on hashing. I hope this is the last political thing we have on this budget, and y'all go ahead and approve what you've got and figure out what you're going to do, because just bringing it back and bringing it back is not going to help us. And we can lay blame on y'all, but we as citizens should have been holding y'all responsible a long time ago before we had to borrow the $5 million. So, no, I can't afford for my taxes to be raised. But if we have to raise taxes, we have to raise taxes.
No.
Yeah, they do. There's no other way for them to come up with money, and I don't support the fact that we have to raise taxes.
This is a court of law, and it'd just be like in a courtroom. Once in a while, you just can't help but have a little amen or whatever. But when you start interrupting the speaker where others cannot hear them, that's not courteous. You may not agree with Ms. Anderson, but please let her finish her time, and if you'll add a little time back on there, Rachel.
That's okay. I've said most everything I wanted to say. I do appreciate what you're doing. I would ask again that y'all work as a team, because I still feel like y'all not a team. And Lord knows I pray for y'all every day. And I will continue. But y'all do need to work as a team, because I think as a team, working on the same grounds, you'll be able to solve it.
All right. Any more first-time speakers? This is your last chance to be a first-time speaker. Yes, and there's seats on the front, so come on up and sit on the front. We won't have this break. We'll just go from one to the next thing. Okay? I see a couple of chairs right there. Move on down one, let her come in and speak.
Oh, I'm going first?
Yes, good point.
Okay. I'm Katie Smith, and I'm from Texarkana, and I didn't come to speak either. I came to see what y'all were going to do with the budget. But then they started bashing you about your helpers. Susie is a friend of mine. She's been here with McCoy and whoever was before her, him, for years. Okay. She was here all these years, and not one person in here said a word. Not one person. It was fine for her to be an employee. But now all of a sudden you've got her, it's a problem. So then we've got this lady that just spoke said the other day that, you know, it doesn't matter what happened years ago, that we're now and we need to take care of this now. Yes, it does. It does matter what happened 20 years ago.
Oh, God.
Oh, come on. We know what happened.
What happened? Tell us.
Mr. Tarr?
Really? Did I say anything while you were
This is
up?
political. This is political.
You got to say what you wanted to say, so sit there and be quiet.
I will.
Would you address us now?
That's worth the signature.
Well, make him be quiet. Okay. Then the sheriff gets up here and he's begging for help. If that's political, I'm sorry, I live in the county, so I need the sheriff. You know, I mean, seriously, I think about all the policemen, my nephew's a policeman, what little bit of area they cover and all that, and yet there's so many of them, and we've got so few sheriffs, and we need them, and he's begging, and yet he cuts his salary, and he cuts so many of them, and then they're mad because he needs washer and dryers. If my washer and dryer goes out at home, I've gotta have a washer and dryer. I've gotta go get one. I can't just say, okay, we're not gonna have a washer and dryer. Okay, can we make the prisoners wash their clothes out in a bucket? Yes? Yes, we can. You're exactly right. Shall we do that? Okay, that's what we'll do then, okay? We'll take big wash buckets up there with scrub boards and we'll wash clothes. Also, when Emily was talking about her husband being sheriff, yes, he was. My uncle was a good friend of his, and he was a sheriff, and we're talking, what, the 70s?
Yes.
Okay. Has Texarkana and Bowie County not changed a bunch since the 70s? Do we not have a lot more crime? Was we not voted second most crime in the state of Texas or something the other day, which was talk about political? That was as political as it comes. It's something that's been going on for a long time, and a lot of people don't want to admit it. Judge Lacey, I don't know how you take it. I don't. When they talked about William Tye the other day, about the judge, I got to see it on video, about how they didn't understand how you put up with this for so long, and how you took all you've done. I don't know how you take it. This place is loaded up with people just.
3 months.
Just
3 minutes are up.
3 minutes are up.
Thank you.
Another first-time speaker. Go ahead. Give us your name and where you're from.
Carol Smith from Texas. Believe it or not, I didn't come here to speak tonight either. One of the other meetings, my bottom line, I want to see Bowie County in the flag. I want to see a budget that can be lived with for everybody. Employees, the commissioners, the citizens. One of the other meetings I went to, I talked about the bond of trust with y'all. I don't think when we as voters vote you in, that we need to check up on you like school kids. There's a bond of trust there that we trust what you're doing. And I think nearly everybody here would agree that it's getting kind of thin. Just, I want Bowie County in good shape. I want y'all to work together and get it done.
First-time speaker?
I didn't know I was talk either.
Tell us who you are, where you're from.
He said his name was Carol Smith. My name is Carolyn Smith Halter, so there you go. And do you know where Rock Creek is?
Yes.
Okay, it's New Boston. Anyway, I have a question about when somebody brought up land. Where did the land that Red River gave back, who got that land? No? Didn't they give it to the county?
The county at one time was co-owner with the Red River Redevelopment Authority. Something in the agreement that the governor brought and they advanced in time in September 2010 transferred that solely to them. And when the name change was made in the new legislative session in 2011, Bowie County was excluded from ownership in the land. Now the idea is that, and that's when they changed the name to Tex America Center. The idea is that whenever they have got all that land back on the tax roll, that there will be a point at which, if there's a little bit left over, they'll turn it all over to the county. And so the idea is to have private ownership of all that land that they received. At one time, Bowie County was there, and at one time we shared in the timber cuts when we were part owners, and that all changed in 2010 and 2011.
Who got the money for the timber?
Sorry.
Who got the money from the timber?
Who gets it now?
You said y'all shared in it, so did
It
the county get money?
went to the Red River Redevelopment Authority, it became Tex America Center and Bowie County, but when Bowie County was taken out of the ownership, my assumption is it all goes to Tex America Center now.
Okay. Do you guys mostly deal with roads a lot? Roads? Okay, Bowie County is not just roads, it's people and it's businesses. And I don't have a suggestion for y'all, except some of the other people have already said it. You can't spend more than you have. I've been told that all my life. My husband's really good at that. I don't really know, I don't really have a solution for y'all, but my main question was, I live across from the backside of Red River, and it really disturbs me when I don't know where that land went and who got the money for it. So y'all have please answered my question there. I think I need to get a job at the courthouse since I found out your secretary made so good. I'm sorry, I'm not picking on you, but I used to work for Pilgrim's Pride, and I thought, good gosh.
She makes 15% less than that.
Hun, I would take 15% less. I work for both Pilgrim, and I make $5 and something an hour. I mean, of course, we know what happened. That's an example. He went bankrupt because does the county have to file bankruptcy if they don't get it?
Your time is up. If you'd like to come back for a second round, you're welcome. Thank you. Anybody else first time? Please, if you're going to speak, come on up here. There's chairs, and we don't have this break waiting for somebody to come up here. Go ahead and come on and sit in the front row. You're not going to be denied. We're going to be giving you 3 minutes. If you need longer, we'll have you back for a second time. Tell us who you are and where you're from.
My name's Martin Risley. I live in Nash, and I arrived late, so I wasn't able to hear everything. But I had one question, and that is regarding the rules. Are there rules that determine how much the taxes can go up in a year? Because if there aren't, what assurance do we have that, you know, there's not going to be another hike like this next year and the year after that? In other words, shouldn't there be rules in place that say no matter what sort of deficit the county's in, we cannot raise taxes more than this limit, this percentage point, you know, set a ceiling on that? Is there any sort of rule like that, or can you in principle raise it to any limit?
You want me to answer that on your time, or you want me to wait till you sit down, so you have your full 3 minutes?
That's all I had to ask.
Okay, all right. The tax rate comes in two parts. One for operations is called M&O, and the other one is for debt service. It's called INS. The rules by the state dictate within 1/10,000th of a cent what the tax rate has to be for the debt service side. We have no, if we owe the principal and interest in the next 12 months, then they figure to the 1/10,000th of a cent what that tax rate's going to be. Okay. Now on the operations side, called the M&O side, what happens there is an effective tax rate that the state forces us to calculate and announce to people, and a rollback rate. The effective tax rate basically says, here's if you have some increased valuation in the county, let's say. Well, if you don't collect exactly the same amount of money that you did last year, then your tax rate ought to go down. And if your tax rate doesn't go down to that effective rate or below, then we have to have hearings for the public to come and address that. All right. Now, the other side is the rollback rate. What the rollback rate does is it allows an 8% up to 8% increase on the operations side of the tax rate. And that could happen year after year. And the public does not have a right to come and petition for a rollback election. But if we exceed that 8% on the operations side, then the taxpayers have the right to petition for an election, and as they did in April, vote to roll it back to the 8%. The county still got an 8% increase on the operations side of the budget, but it's the way the two divisions are broken up. So the rules determine on the one side, we don't get to set the tax rate. Once we've incurred the debt, the state sets it for us, and on the other side, it says if you exceed 8% increase, then the taxpayers have a right to petition for a rollback election. If it succeeds, then the tax is rolled back to that 8% increase. All right. Anybody else for the first time? Yes, ma'am. Come up and tell us who you are and where you're from.
Anna Cochran, and I'm from New Boston. And I didn't come to speak either, but anyway, I thought this meeting was about raising the taxes. I didn't know it was about the payroll and all that, or the budget. But I understand that the budget is in the red, and I understand that it needs to get in the black. You know, that we're broke and everything, and we do need to have revenue coming in somewhere to make up the difference and pay that $5 million back that we're gonna borrow. But my concern is that I'm a senior citizen, I'm on set income, and if my taxes goes up 36%, I cannot make it. And so I don't know what, and a lot of people are in the same shoes I'm in. If it goes up that much, they're gonna have to move, they're gonna have to get out of the county, or do something, go to apartment or somewhere else, where they won't have to pay so much taxes. Because I have to pay mine twice a year now, and I can't hardly make it like it is. And if it goes up that much, I'm sure I won't be able to. Thank you.
Thank you. Tell us who you are and where you're from.
My name is Donnie Spriggs. I'm from Precinct 1, Liberty Isle, Texarkana, Texas. People want to talk about going back and looking at the past administration. We want to blame the past administration for this mess. Go back and look at the past administration. Go back and look and see what a real budget is supposed to look like. We didn't borrow $5 million in the past administration. Go back and look and see what a real budget is supposed to look like. I hope this budget this year that you're proposing is not as bad as what it was last year, because this county cannot afford to borrow another $5 million.
Very good. Did you stand up at that age? I'm not sure I did. Do we have any other first-time speakers? Yes, come up and tell us who you are and where you're from.
I'm Paul Powell, and I'm from Liberty Hill. And for you that don't know where Liberty Hill is, we're a little bit north of New Boston. I have a concern about Bowie County, a great concern, and I know that these 5 people right here have got a lot of weight on their back, but there's some major decisions that's got to be made. I have had, since I've moved out here, I've had welders stolen. I know we got to have a sheriff's department, and I know we got to have other offices. I know in Bowie County in Texas at 65 years old, your homestead, your taxes are frozen. Now, any other land that I have, my taxes are going to go up. But I know that there's got to be some answers to get Bowie County back on track. And it's going to be left up to y'all to do it. And I've got a lot of faith in you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other first-time speakers? We're going to go to our second round now, but I'd ask you, if you did not come up and speak, you forfeited your right to speak now. Let me give you one more chance. Any first-time speakers? Because we have people here that, like Tony Barrett, wants to address the budget. Very few speakers tonight have addressed the budget, the proposed budget. And that's what this hearing is about. But we've given wide latitude here tonight so that you get a chance to vent how you're feeling. All right, let's go back around for a second time. And if you would feel free to... you go ahead. Are you going to speak? Yes.
Hello, I'm Bill Davis again. What I'd like to ask you, what was the tax income that you collected 4 years ago for the county?
$34 million, I think, was the total income, the total budget.
Total budget, 34 million. What is it today?
This year it was what, around 29 this year. In the proposed budget with the loan, we're going back up to $32 million budget.
Well, I'm amazed that we've had all the new hotels built, restaurants all over Texarkana, new homes, and billions of dollars worth of property that's been put on the tax rolls that you are not having an increase in your tax base.
That's all figured for us by Bowie Central Appraisal District. They send us all that information. We don't do the valuation of properties at all as a county. They do it for all taxing entities in the county.
I understand that. But with all, I'm sure everyone's been seeing all the new businesses, new restaurants, new hotels, and surely they're paying taxes.
What was the increase to? 230?
I just built an apartment complex. They're taxing me $170,000 a year, and you had 36% on your part of it. Where am I going to get the money to pay if I can't raise the rent?
That's right. You have to. Second time around, Gate, Car, New Boston. I do have another suggestion for your budget. That's what we're here for. I go to church with Ron Stovall. He's the Miller County Sheriff. And I told him we've got all these problems. And I've tried to compare the two sheriff's departments. One of the things he does is they own their own cars, whereas you don't. And I would like to recommend to the next commissioner's court a side-by-side comparison, which is cheaper, to pay your people the big car allowance, or the county buy the cars, because now you have an asset. Paying these people is just like an apartment. The money just keeps going. If you have a home, you have an asset. Buying cars is assets. It might make your balance sheet look better. So that's one suggestion. And I would like somebody that has some accounting expertise to run that analysis. You might save a ton of money. And therefore, you could maybe have another deputy. I'm trying to help you out, but you know. So that's another suggestion, but time is running out, folks. So that was a suggestion. Now, I'd like to say something about Tex America. I don't think what you said, Judge, is totally correct. And Mike was on the board. Our charter did not change. I happen to be on the board of Tex America Center. We're operating, the only thing happening between Red River Redevelopment Authority and Tex America Center is simply a name change. The charter is still the same. So to say that all of a sudden we are holding the money, that's not a correct answer, sir. I want to correct that. The other thing I want to ask you...
By the way, you're welcome to send us our share of the check you were sending before. We were taken out of the legislation in 2000.
Well, I'll be glad to sit down with you. I'm happy to. But this is a budget thing. I'm just saying that's not a correct thing. Now, the other thing I'd like to ask you, you said 4 years ago there was $36 million of revenue. Yeah, you did.
Yes, you did.
Yeah,
Yes,
$36 million of revenue coming in. Yes, you did, sir. Okay. Was it 34? Okay. And now it's below 30. Yeah. And the assumption that everybody thinks, this gentleman, is all of a sudden the tax revenue went down. That's not true. There was a lot of jail revenue, which is not here anymore. So your tax revenue didn't go down. The jail revenue did. So you lost a lot of revenue. So I want to clarify that. Now the other thing I like to help some seniors, because the first time I heard the 36...
Please address the court. Please address the court.
I can't turn around?
Please address the court. You're talking to us. You're giving us suggestions.
Oh, okay. Well, this actually is for some concerned citizens, because you hadn't made this point clarified, and you hear people come up here worried about a 36% increase. Remember that your tax bill majority of your tax bill is school.
Okay,
so don't. Your sentence. I am. The majority of your tax bill is school taxes. So if you had a $2,000 tax bill, don't just multiply 36% and put on top of it. Just look at the county part. It's not that big, so maybe that might help you sleep better tonight. I don't know.
Thank you for that. for that correction.
Wait a minute, Tom, let me, I don't want to. Listen, I didn't mean to come back, and I'll be real brief. There's two smoking guns here that we're dodging. There's two elephants in the room, nobody wants to talk about it. What we've got here is Texas America, we lost the revenue, and US Highway 82. That's what put us in the hole. We,
No.
Whenever you start borrowing $1.5 million to make your balance sheet look good so you can borrow $35 million, you're in trouble. This 82 project was advertised as a $6 million bond issue to the county residents. In reality, we owe $35 million. I don't know what the monthly payment is now, and Mr. Ty could probably tell you. The big deal was the state's going to come in there and take up the slack. The state may not do nothing. Well, the county will not receive 1 penny from the state of Texas till 1 year after completion of that highway. The legislature meets every 2 years. They may decide to pay X amount on each mile. They may decide to pay nothing. If they decide to pay nothing, who got the bill? Bowie County. I don't know, Mr. Ty, you can, off the top of your head, tell me what the monthly payment is on existing bonds? It's this something.
It varies, you know.
But we've got, my point is, we've got to live with it. We've got to live with this baby. You know, we were sold a bill of goods on the highway. Now we're on the hook for $35 million. And that's true, like it or not. And whenever I was attending the court meetings, you had all of the people from the other financial places telling you you're getting in trouble. Evidently you didn't listen to them because you went ahead, you know, and done what you need to do. And yes, Texas America, what did y'all do with all that money out there you sold, remember?
I'd be happy, I tell you what, you call me and we'll go to my office and we'll talk about it.
Where is your office?
We'll go to Texas America Center.
I'll be out there in the morning, sir.
All right, that's good.
Now, I didn't mean to get in the argument, just for reading my neighbor, I like him. He don't know who I am, I know who he is. But anyway, I'm just telling you, the problem is, you're not addressing the problem. This knick-knacky stuff around, nickel-diamond stuff, and attacking each other ain't gonna get it done. I got to go home and watch television. Thank you. I'll see you more. I won't know what money.
I'm going to tell you. So come on out here. Come on out here. Come on. Otherwise, the judge will throw us out.
Okay. All right. I hate that I got interrupted and have to start back, but anyway, I was at the part to where, you know, my office is already shorthanded. My girls work so hard, they come in early, they stay late, they get no overtime. You can have comp time, but if you don't have time to take comp time, it really don't help you much. But, you know, I'm looking at closing at 4:30 now in the afternoons, and the girls work until 5 to catch up on their title work. This is another, you know, something that I really don't want to, never thought I'd have to do it. But, you know, you can't just keep being behind on all of our paperwork. So, you know, I'm going to have to do something. But as far as, you know, suggesting something to be done, we know that the $30,000 phone and reception, that salary can be used to be put back into the county because it's a, you know, we paid $55,000 for the phone that's automated, so we should be able to put that back in. And I understand, Mike, that, you know, you had Susie, but Susie was leaving. It happened to be that, you know, she's been appointed now for the JP office in Maud, and it's just a window there of time frame there where you could have done away with that salary. You know, I don't know exactly what it is. I heard you say 29 or 27 or something is what she's making, but still, you know, it's a time. You said that we were all gonna bleed together. Well, this is a time right now where you could eliminate that office, that job. We could eliminate the courthouse, phone operator job. And that would be about $60,000 that we could be putting back in for the good of the county. And, like I said, I don't really, you know, if the other commissioners, I know that, Kelly's, secretary, she retired, I understand, to keep somebody from having to lose their job, one of the men. And I think Tom had to let his secretary go, and I don't think, Sammy, you've never had one. So I just think it's a time that, right now, that money, because it is where Susie was leaving, and it was an opening there where it, you know, that could be put back into the system maybe.
I would like to make it plain that my husband went into the sheriff's office in 1973. This part of the country was called the Dixie Mafia. He did stay busy. He had 10 people and himself. And I do have some suggestions, one big suggestion. And that would be, Judge Lacey, you resign. So and get our county back on track. Have transparency and accountability, because for the last 3 years and 9 months, we have not had that. Thank you.
Last round for the second time around. Yes.
I'm sorry. I went over, took a few minutes. Back when the washers and dryers again. I wish we could put them out there with the rub boards, but that's not going to happen. The state will not allow that to happen. The jail commission will close us down. I don't think anybody in here wants their loved ones in jail doing the same thing. But the fact is, did y'all have any questions for me on washers and dryers?
The only thing is, this first time I've heard about it, so there's no way we can make a decision or anything.
And I understand.
So, you know, we're at a dilemma here, so we got to go forward from there.
Okay. Thing is, we have to have the washers and dryers. We're going to have them. Or we're going to have to hire somebody else to wash our clothes. That's going to cost a lot of money. While I'm here, I'm going to mention just briefly on the cars. It's coincidental to me that the car allowance was brought up tonight, because I recently heard rumor, or is the commissioners discussing that issue of doing away with the car allowance? I was told that you are. I don't know, maybe not. Rumor sometime get out of hand. That's definitely something we need to look at. You know, there's pros and cons to it. I'll be glad to sit down and look at it. If it is being discussed, I'd appreciate it as a sheriff to be a part of that discussion.
Happy customer.
I think it'd be very important. But anyway, it's almost up now. Thank y'all.
Thank you. About to wrap up. Let's finish our second round.
All right, Pat Arnold from Texarkana again. I'm curious though, what was the interest rate on the $5 million loan?
4%.
4%? Okay. And the other thing is, I know invocations are from the public if somebody wanted to do an invocation. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then, okay. So my suggestion is, why not do the Pledge of Allegiance?
We do.
Did you do it tonight?
No. We do it in our regular session.
Okay.
We don't do it in special emergency sessions or hearings, but we do it in our regular session twice a month.
Okay, why not the hearings?
It was just set up this way.
It could be, that could be turned around. Maybe we should recognize that we have our country under God.
And if you'd like to offer one of our prayers, the lady on the end right over there would love to sign you up for one of our regular court sessions to have the prayer.
Do you usually have somebody that does say a prayer at court?
Every regular court session we have.
Okay, the commissioner's court was a little different.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The other second time around.
I too did not come to speak tonight, much less twice. But my concern is the budget and coming out at least even at the end of next year. Now, we have got 4 months, October, November, December, January, to come up with $5 million. That's a lot of money. Every little cut will make a difference. And that's what I want to see. And I'm not knocking Mr. Carter or Mr. Lacy or anybody. I just want to see us cut where we can cut so we can make that. Last year we couldn't pay our bills. We had to borrow $5 million. And this year we have to pay our bills and repay that $5 million. That's a lot of money. And I want to say to Mr. Prince, I've called Mr. Prince a time or two, and the deputies have been there at a reasonable time. And I appreciate that. I have no complaint with the sheriff's department. Maybe they could take some cuts, maybe they could not. I'd hate to have to spend $65,000 for a working driver. But my concern is coming out even next year. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I appreciate the job y'all are doing. I wouldn't take it. Thank you.
Second time around. By the way, if you're going to speak a second time, come and take a seat so we can have this break in between. We're going to wrap up at the end of this round.
Commissioner Blackburn and Commissioner Whitten and Commissioner Stone, I appreciate your work. Y'all have really tried, because I've been in the Commissioners' Court sessions here lately, and y'all have really tried. Commissioner Carter, I think you could do better. And I think you ought to do better just for the county. And I appreciate y'all's work also.
Anybody else second round? This is a public hearing for you to talk to us. Commissioners, is there any response that you didn't give, didn't interrupt, that you want to give at this time, and then we're going to wrap the hearing?
Yes, Judge, I do. We, the young lady asked earlier, if we had, I'll talk loud enough so they can hear me. If we had cut our budgets.
Just stand up, Sam.
You can't hear her.
Hello.
Oh, whoa! Golly, I'm gone with pal, y'all. Okay, to continue. When I took office in January of 2013, my budget was $627,000. That seems like a lot, but I have many miles of road to maintain, not as much as he does. But my budget this year is $494,000. That's a major, major cut in a year and a half's time. And to answer, yes, my budget has been cut. My salary has been cut. My travel allowance has been cut. I've let employees go. So are we trying to do our part to get Bowie County back in line? You bet your sweet Biffy we are. Now, it's been hard for us. It's been tough to make the decisions that we've made. And I'll give you a quick example. Back in March of this year, we cut like $900,000 out of the budget. Now, the purpose of making a budget cut was trying to stop the dollars going out the door. The $900,000 that we cut was, I'll use this term loosely, was fluff. Pencils, paper clips, things of this nature. We did cut the budget $900,000. But far as actually cutting money going out every 2 weeks out that door, it did not do it. The only way that we could see any results coming out of that was to ask the employees, myself, Mike, all the guys up here, to ask our employees to help us get out of this situation. We asked for a 15% department reduction, not an individual employee. And 99% of them came across with it. Did it hurt us? You bet it did. I've got people out, I've got 4 guys doing what 6 or 7 should be doing now. Bless his heart, Tom Whitten's got 2 guys in himself. So, you know, you come out and look at what we've got to do in our precinct, the employees we've got, the amount of money we've got to spend, and you will understand, you know, that we are at the bottom of the barrel scraping to get through to the end of the year. And the other thing I'd like to talk about too is, you know, Bowie County can be strong and healthy again, but we got to do the right thing at the right time. The Christmas lights can shine again, the bills can be paid on time, and business can be as usual if we stop our stinking thinking and get ourselves in line. The tax rate that we're talking about, sure, it's going to hurt. Do I like it? Not one bit. Is it necessary? By all means. We're talking about a 12.5 cent per 100 increase. How many Cokes is that a week? It doesn't sound like much, but if you own a $300,000 home, Mr. Davis here has got multiple departments out here, you know, yeah, it's going to hurt him. It's going to hurt him. It's going to hurt all of us. But is it necessary? If Bowie County is going to survive, we have got to do what we've got to do. I don't like it. Mike doesn't like it. None of these guys up here like it. But our survival depends on us stepping up, sucking up, and doing what we got to do to make Bowie County survive. And I'm like Forrest Gump. Now, that's all I got to say about that.
Any other comments? With that, declare that the hearing is over at 7:16. Thank you very much for being here. Good. Sure glad you met us.